Welcome to Signs of the Times with your host,
Yelson.
and Gigi Signs. It's been
2 weeks since we haven't
actually
dropped.
it's been a month since we last released.
Oh, you're right.
So
You're right.
we're completely different people now. We're completely changed.
How so?
We're just so changed. The world's changed. I've changed. I'm just kidding, guys. My birthday month is over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a great month, a great April month full of exciting things that we did. We celebrated your birthday month, and we also celebrated our church district 50th anniversary.
Yeah, we just had a lot of stuff back to back to back to back.
Yeah, so that's why we were unable to release a episode
We
2 weeks
couldn't find
ago.
the time to do it.
Yeah, so
but we're
had a
here
lot.
now.
Yeah,
We went to Sight and Sound.
Yep, we went
for
to
my
Sight
birthday
Sound
and
to
watched
watch
Daniel. And that was crazy.
It was really fun. But I do prefer David. I liked David,
Never watched
but
it.
Daniel was really good too. I just had a lot more expectations.
Like higher
But anyways,
expectations?
I didn't want to spoil it, but it's overall good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see all the animals. I had never been to one. I'd never been to a show, and I didn't know what to expect, but I had really high I went in with high expectations.
Yeah, because I kept hyping it for her.
Yeah, and I think my expectations were met. My only complaint is
I thought it wasn't met.
No, it was met. My only complaint was that my neck hurt afterwards, and the seats are really close to each other. That's it.
Yeah.
Are you stressed?
No.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. I guess was
it was good. And then so that was a week we were like, okay, we're gonna record one, and then I think the following week was the district's or church's district 50th anniversary.
That was also really fun.
Was Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
And then Friday night, it wasn't even Friday, it was Saturday morning. So we went to these services Thursday, Friday, and they're all evening services. We left the church like at 11:30, got home at
p.m.
Yeah, 11:30 p.m. Got home, went to bed like close to midnight, and then at 2 a.m, we had to go drop my parents off at the airport.
Yes, it was such a long night.
But I actually felt like I slept a while.
No way.
Yeah, I felt like I slept like at least 4 hours, but it was so funny because we get out. And we get in the car, and my parents just start talking, and we're like still waking up.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we haven't gone to bed all night. We've just been packing and doing it. And we're just like, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't sound tired at all.
No.
That was crazy.
I think they were planning on sleeping on the plane. But yeah, we got busy, unfortunately. We tried our best, but
it's okay.
We tried so hard. Sorry.
It's okay. We're here now. So, yeah, we definitely were thinking a lot about what we're going to talk about tonight. But we just remembered that tomorrow is what is it, Gigi?
Our first year anniversary of being homeowners.
Yes, we are a year into being homeowners.
Yes.
And boy, we do have somewhat a lot to tell y'all, but
it's a process.
Just a process. And I know there are probably some people that listen to this podcast and already know what buying a home is like.
Already have a home.
But for those that really are in the process or just thinking about it, or haven't even thought about it yet, I guess you can get some advice from us,
get something out of it.
Yeah,
we're not professionals, obviously.
No, and it's crazy because in this area there are so many opinions. There are just so many ways to do it.
To do.
And the amount of people I've talked to and have all said different things is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just came to like a conclusion that there is no correct way to do it, but there is a smart way to do it.
Right. And there's like a convenient way, and there's an easy way. Hold on. There's a hard way and there's an expensive way. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be a year of owning our place. Thank God.
Yeah.
It was such a blessing. We do have a condo. We weren't even planning on buying anything.
No. I had so little knowledge of buying a home. That wasn't even in my radar last year. I just thought like, okay, we're going to go into an apartment. But of course, like as we were learning and talking with people and just looking things up, I just thought, or we both thought, you know, let's give this a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a process, but so we were engaged in the process of like, okay, where are we going to live?
Beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk about this, I like to talk about how exactly it all started. So I'll take you back to the beginning, to when I would be on my way to work Tuesday mornings. I would pass by these condos, and every time I would pass by these condos, I would look over to it and I'd be like, you know, I'm going to live here. I don't know how, like, I don't know why I like this place. I don't know how much this place costs. I don't have any type of idea on how to buy houses or whatever, or whatever.
Well, you didn't even know they were condos at that point.
I didn't even know it was condos or anything. I don't know.
He just saw it and was like,
I like
I'm
it.
going to live here.
Yeah, and every time I would pass it on Tuesdays, I'd be like, I want to live here. So fast forward, me and Gigi, we get engaged and we are looking for a place to live. And at this point, I have not told her about this yet. I have not told her about where I wanted to live. It just always was in the back of my head. She was just looking for places to live. So then, constant, looking. Yeah, yes, it's.
I used to live in Hagerstown. We're in Frederick. So we were debating as well of where we were, like what city. So that was a whole nother thing. Where are we going to live? So, continue.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, you were looking at houses and there were so many options. One of the places was actually in this property, but a different building.
Wait, well, we're skipping a whole part of it.
What was it?
Because before we even got here, we had been, so I'm gonna take you, you missed the part. So before we even looked into buying something, so Yelson had wanted to live in this area, and I was like daily looking for places to live, right? But always apartments. We were like, let's just get an apartment. It'll be more convenient. Like if we buy something, it'll probably be whenever we want to buy like a townhome or like a single home. Like we don't want to make this purchase yet. Like, so we're constantly looking and looking. And then one day I was like, hey, like, what if we just buy like a condo? And Yelson was like, no. Like, I don't want to, I just don't want to get a mortgage right now and all this stuff.
It's funny because I don't remember saying any of that.
Yeah, you didn't want to get a condo. Like, you didn't want to get a mortgage.
I don't know why.
So I kept having.
Last year.
Yeah. So I kept like almost insisting to the point where I was like, I'm going to contact a realtor and we're going to go meet with him just to see like what's out there, what's in the market and what's the market like right now. So Yelson's like, well, I'm like, it's going to have to be during the week, and Yelson's schedule isn't fixed. So it was like kind of a whole thing. We end up sitting down with the guy and he's like, okay, like, you know, we can look into this or that. And we left the meeting and Yelson was like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. Like you had no idea what it was like or like what played a part in it. we kept looking for apartments. And then when we started considering buying something, we realized it was so much cheaper to buy than to rent.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, I guess we're going to put our money into this. And mind you, we're planning for a wedding, which was also a blessing because we didn't have to do that much for the wedding. But yeah, we're like, I guess we're going to buy because it's so expensive to rent. Frederick is like growing and they're building like all these bougie apartments. We went to go see an apartment. It was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And it was like close to $2,000 a month and it was like as big as our living room with the kitchen. Like it was tiny, but it was like a resort style apartment and all that stuff. And we're like, okay, I mean, it's not bad. Like, and then we end up in this place and you were going to tell them about the first one we saw.
Oh yeah. So the first one, well, again, I haven't told Gigi that I wanted to live in this property, and I didn't tell her the whole story. So the first one we looked at in this property, it was newly. I always get those words: remodeled, renovated, refurbished. I get those words mixed up. So what is it?
Renovated.
Oh, renovated. You used a different word.
It's the same thing, but people always say remodeled, renovated. It's all the same thing.
Okay, so it was newly renovated. Everything looked great, modern, new. And I quickly fell in love with it. And I was like, yes, we're going to live here.
Oh, true.
And there's just no other way around it. We're going to stay here.
Yeah, we walked in and Yelson was already like.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is it.
Babe, we need to make an offer. Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Right. And it's crazy because I was even thinking about like, wow, like this is exactly like the place I wanted to live. Like this is crazy. This is actually happening right now. I had no idea.
Yelson saw it and was like, oh my goodness, like all these months of wanting to live here. Like if it had.
That's why I wanted to continue my story because I forgot when I said when we were looking for stuff. You randomly sent me a link to a condo, and it was this one. And you're like, you were like, let's look into this. And I was like, I clicked the link, and I realized this is the exact place where I wanted to live. And I don't know why I didn't look into it before. I don't know why. Like I didn't know it was condos. I didn't know the price or anything. Anyways. Yeah, the first one we looked at here, we decided to put an offer.
Yes.
And once we put our offer in, we were so confident that we were going to get it and we were going to move in right away. And we were just excited. You know, I was already fantasizing and looking at each room and like, all right, my stuff is going there. Well, they had
told us as well, like there was a lot of offers.
Yeah. And then we were the top offer, and that's why we felt confident that we were going to get the place. Top offer, like, and it was about to close in like.
So it was like one of the last days to put an offer.
Yes.
So we went to go see it. We're like, okay, we caught it right in time. We're gonna go walk through it.
Yeah.
Put an offer in. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna call, and I'll let you know tomorrow. This was a Saturday, so Sunday we're both like. Okay, have you heard anything? I'm like, no, I haven't heard anything yet. So it's like Sunday evening, and I'm like, babe, I still haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
So I call the realtor, and he's like, okay, so we were like the top offer, and then someone came in with cash.
Yep.
A cash offer, and no one's gonna say no to cash. Like the money's already there.
Bro, I did not like. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about buying homes or of anything of that field. So when I heard that, I was like, wait, what? What do you mean cash? Like that to me was just crazy. I don't know how any of this works.
Yeah, but they came in with cash. So of course it was off the market. So then
great.
So then Monday comes and we're kind of like bummed, like, oh, we have to start all over again.
Right. And
back to looking and seeing everywhere.
But I was like, I kept like praying too. I was like, God, like, I actually want to live here. Like, I
Which
hope
is strange to me because I don't understand
I just liked it.
What it is about this area.
I was so drawn to it. And I was like, God, this is what I want. You'll make the way if this is your will. Right. And then,
whenever Yeltsin told me this the first time, we had, I don't know if we were hanging out and we drove by this area and it was like late and he came into, you know, the buildings. He's like, yeah, I always drive by here on my way to work and I like it. I want to live here. And I was like, okay, like I'll take note of that. Because at this point I'm like Yeltsin's realtor that hired a realtor. Like he was like, because I work from home. So every single day I'd be like working and like looking for a place and I would just send Yeltsin links. So I would filter them through. But he told me, he was like, I just want to live here. And I was like, okay, it's nice, but like it was so random. Like it's not even like, well, the stores are kind of close, but it was just like, I was just like, what did he, you know? Anyways, so Monday came and we were slightly bummed, like, oh man, we have to start over. So Monday comes and I'm sending him a different link of a different unit, same property, so same area, just a different buildings, different unit. And
I was still bummed out, so I was really like, whenever you would send links, I'd be like, yeah,
so hard.
Yeah, I was just really bummed out from Sunday, but
yeah, Yeltsin didn't even want to look at it. So I see this other unit and it's a complete mess. It's just
not like a mess.
No, it was just
like very out of date.
It was old. It needed like so much work. It just needed a lot of work. So
it was livable though.
I know. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I just
I mean, it's a condo. It has to be livable.
It just made it sound like it was like a disaster.
It
like
was. I showed it like when I showed it to
walls being torn down.
No, like when I showed it to our parents, like my parents and your parents, their reaction was both the same. Where it was like, ugh. I mean, I guess like it was just like it wasn't like move-in ready. I mean, it was move-in ready. It just wasn't nice.
It just wasn't our preference.
It was like if a 90-year-old couple lived in here. Yeah. And it wasn't changed since they were 17.
Right.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. But yeah, that I remember we gave it a shot. You called up the realtor and you're like, hey, yeah, let's take a look at this one.
No, I sent it to you.
Wait.
I sent it to Yeltsin. Yeltsin's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to go there. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to have to wait if that's where, like, either we wait for another unit to pop up or we have to live somewhere else. Like a completely different area.
Yeah, I was so set on this place.
And by the time that I sent him the text and Yeltsin hasn't even answered, I'm still looking, the realtor calls and he's like, hey, there's another unit. And I don't know if you guys want to go look at it. And when he sent it, he told me, I was like, okay, like, which one is it? He sends me the same link I had sent Yeltsin.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. And I was just like, I don't think so. Because Yeltsin just wasn't like, he didn't like it. So I was like, I don't know. Like, I was about to just tell him no. And he's like, I mean, you can just go give it a look. Like, and mind you, I'm driving 35 minutes after work to come see this property. And I was like, oh my goodness, like Yeltsin doesn't even like it. I was like, okay. So I'm like texting Yeltsin trying to convince him like, let's just go look at it. And he was like, well, I don't like it. And I'm like, let's just go look. Cause I'm like at this point, like it didn't hurt to
because I've seen something so much better in the same properties.
Yeah. So the other one, like the kitchen was renovated.
Yeah.
The walls were painted. Bathroom was nice.
Was just brand new.
So of course Yeltsin's like, this place is ugly. I don't want to go see it.
Yeah.
So we come to see it and he knew the guy selling the place. And he gave us the price, and Yelson was like, I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
We came to see the place,
Mhm,
and I'm talking with the guy. We're walking through the unit, and it was probably the quickest walkthrough. And by the time I looked back at Yelson, he's already at the door. You're already standing at the door. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this guy's ready to leave.
Right.
So we're all standing in the living room, and the guy's like, okay, well, this is what he's asking for. And Yelson was so quick, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay. So we made an offer, which was like below asking price.
Like way below it, because
like
I was just $10,000
below.
Yeah, I just didn't see how it was worth it to pay like the asking price.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess what really stuck out to me was the chimney.
I don't know, like chimneys.
I was like, well, at least it has a chimney, and I can see potential in this place. We can do a lot of things. But yeah, but at the end, I was still like, no, this is crazy. Why am I even here?
Yeah. So we initially wanted to go 15 below asking, and the guy was like, I don't know if he's going to take it. And we're like, fine, 10. Well, we went to 10 below.
Yeah.
So we pull out of the place, stop at a gas station like down the street, and he calls and he's like, he accepted the offer. And we're like,
I was like,
okay then.
It was like bittersweet.
It was, because we're like, it's not really like,
yes. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Because it was like we could see how much work we had to put into it. And we're not even done. Well, and it's been a year.
Yeah, well, I guess to me, now that I've lived here for a little like few months.
Well, my year's coming up. Yelson still has 2 more months.
Mm-hmm. Right. She moved in first, but I've come to like just find out that this place is not as bad as we thought. Babe, I'm being honest. It's not as bad as I thought. There's a few things we still got to fix, but everything else just looks
And it's not even
great.
Fixing. Like, it's just paint or decorating. Yeah. And I'm not even a good decorator. I can't decorate. But so he called. He says he approved the offer, and we're like, okay, I guess. And we're talking in the car like, well, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a while. So we start the process, and, all this paperwork.
Not only that, we also got, what's the inspector? We paid for an inspector.
Yeah. And
he inspected the place, got back to us, and told us the actual price of.
No, that was their,
not the actual.
It's the bank sent someone. The bank sent someone, and they give an estimate of what it's worth.
Okay, they give an estimate, and it was below what we offered.
Yeah, right? So.
And we're like, oh. Okay,
so we went down 15. He said, and the realtor was like, no, just do 10. And we're like, okay, we went down 10. So at this point, we're like, okay, we're going to stick with this price. We're going through the mortgage process and everything. Gets to the point. This is and you get the estimate, we got it, I think, a week or 2 before we were ready to close. So we're doing all the paperwork with the price that was given. And then the bank comes back and it's like, the place is worth this. And we were like, okay, so what does that mean? And well, that means when the bank gives an estimate of the value of the place and you pay more, the bank doesn't want to give you more. You're not going to get a mortgage worth more of the value of the property.
Yeah.
I don't know if I worded that right, but yeah. So it was okay. So I'm talking with the realtor and he's talking with the seller and he's like, okay, well, she can, they can just bring that extra cash to the table and we can keep the price the same. And I was like, excuse me, I'm not paying more than the bank said it's worth. So that was a whole nother thing. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Nope. And he's like, fine, I'll bring the price down $3,000 more. And we're like, no, that's still not what the bank said it's worth. So we went down even more. I was like, well, and my mom is very like, she's just raised us to be like, just act like you don't care. And it'll get sorted out. Like, so I was like, well, that's fine. If he doesn't want to sell it, that's fine. I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
And this whole time, Yelson's at work. I'm like almost every day talking with the realtor about stuff. And it's like, oh, windows here, all this stuff, like a ton of stuff. Water heater. I didn't even know I was going to have to deal with a water heater. So all these things. And then I'm like, they're listing all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, we have to do all this work. We have to fix this. We have to paint this. And then they're like, the guys wanted to sell it over what it's worth. And I was like, no. So I told him, I was like, well, because the place had been empty. He would rent the place out. So the place had been empty for like 2 months. So it's just sitting here. And I was like, well, I guess he just wants it to be sitting there. And it's going to stay sitting there because I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He's like, okay, I'll call the seller. We'll see what we can do. We'll see. Because obviously they want to sell. They both want to sell. Obviously, the seller's always going to have the upper hand, but as long as it's reasonable. So he's like, I'll call him. Like 5 minutes later, he calls back and he's like, okay, he said he will do what the bank said. And I'm like, well, yeah, like that's the only thing that makes sense. So like 2 weeks later, we like close and we move in. Well, I move in and it was a crazy transition for me. Like I had moved out of my parents' house a while ago, but I was always living with like my sisters. So I wasn't like with my parents, but I was always with someone. And then I moved by myself for a good 2 months. So yeah, that was our process to being homeowners. And it was cheaper than renting here.
Yeah. A lot of people like this is where everyone like starts to debate and have their own opinions. But I just think it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
That things could be like a little different. Some people be like, no, renting, yeah, we're gonna rent. Having a whole condo, like no. Like
some people were so anti-buying.
Yeah.
Like completely. Also, we bought at around the time, it was after COVID and the market was like really high. So we're like, man, if we're going to buy, it's going to be so overpriced. And then we're just thinking like, I don't think it's going to be possible because of how the market's right now. And we're like, we have all these other plans. And then we found this place and obviously like, thank God, you know, we prayed about it and everything and God just made a way. Well, not even, God just made it so much easier for us in the long run.
It was easy. It was, you know, we made it, when we're talking about it, it sounds like, oh my gosh, like this is just so much. But no, like this whole thing was easy and smooth. It was.
Well,
we would run into things, but it would be resolved quick.
Well,
this whole thing was less than a month.
Well, yeah, that's how long it takes. But like gathering all the paperwork and
so
doing everything.
I thought a month was still.
Because you can have like a set date when you're going to do it. And we were saying as soon as possible. So it was like 4 weeks I was moved out. But I was taking care of all the other stuff and like collecting all the documents. And then I would send it in and then they'd be like, I would be the one taking all the phone calls pretty much. So it made it easier on you because the entire time Yelson's at work while I'm doing all this stuff. Being a wife, you know, soon to be wife. Soon to be. I was a soon to be wife. Okay. I was practicing.
You did a great job, babe. Thank you. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here.
I will take it.
Okay.
So yeah. So I was taking care of all that stuff and I would just be collecting. Like as soon as Yelson would get home from work, I'd call him and be like, okay, I need this, this, and this from you. And he'd be like, how do I get that? And I'd be like, go here, go there. So that was an entire thing. But it was good though, because it wasn't too long. And we were trying to get a place. Like, we didn't want our living situation to be something we figured out like a week or two before the wedding, or like moving in a week or two before the wedding, because the last 2 weeks of your engagement are so hectic. And we were like, I don't want to deal with that. So we got all that done. And then we moved in, and there was a ton of work to do.
Yeah.
But we got it. Well, we got most of it done. We still
but it looks great in here. I know you may not agree with me, but I do think it looks great. I feel like we made it sound like this place was just horrendous. I feel like it was.
Well, to me, it was. The walls were like sherbet orange. So this place was so old, it didn't even have a microwave. It had a fan. Just a fan.
Above the stove.
Over range, whatever fan. So we were like, I move in, and I'm like, okay, we cleaned it up. So the move-in date, like, our families came, and we just started cleaning, like, even Yelson's grandma, cleaning this place. And we're like unloading stuff, unloading.
It was fun.
Yeah, there was someone in every room, and they're just cleaning, like deep cleaning. So then we're done. I'm like, okay, I need to go get food to keep in here, because I'm like setting up the Wi-Fi and everything, because I had to go back to work tomorrow. So I was like, I need to get this all done. So everyone leaves. I go get food, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this. It's quick. And then the following day, I'm like, let me grab something quick between, like, on my break. And I'm like, where do I heat this up? Because there was no microwave. Tell me why we hadn't realized that. We were just like, okay, the kitchen's there. Next. And we didn't even pay attention to it. So we had to learn stuff. We learned how to put in a new outlet. So we had to like take the fan off, strip the wires, connect the outlet to it, like the plug-in thing, and then all that stuff, screw it in, and then to attach a microwave, like latch it on. So all these things, like replacing outlets, painting, figuring out like what is the normal lifespan of a water heater? Is the AC good?
This is where a lot of people will come in and be like, well, that's why you don't buy a condo, or
a house in general.
Yeah, they'll be like, if you were to buy a condo, let it be like, new. Others would be like, well, the same people would be like, but if you buy a condo, then, and it's, out of date, then you would have to like fix it up. And, who knows if you are? Because a lot of people say, a lot of condo owners would be like, in the beginning, they'd be like, oh no, yeah, we're gonna fix this and that. Oh man, we have so many ideas. This is gonna be done by this month or whatever. 6 months in, you won't have half of those things done. And that's why a lot of people are like, nah.
We didn't have anyone over for months.
Oh, yeah, starting out, because the place was still getting fixed up. But
it would literally just be like our siblings.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have like guests. We were like,
yeah, we weren't ready for that.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we just started having guests at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we bought it in May. So like almost 6 months later, we were like, hey, we can grab a bite, or we can hang out at our place now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning into another episode of Signs of the Times. We almost forgot the name. It's been so long. And we hope we didn't scare anybody away from buying, or whatever you choose, renting, whatever's more practical to the person.
There's a reason why we didn't even give our opinion on this, because like we said, there's just...
Yeah, there's plenty of good reasons to rent.
Right. There's just...
But to us, it was better to buy, so...
Right.
But that was it. And now we're here. We're going to be a year in our...
Condo.
Our little blessing of God. Thank God for a place to live, because I didn't know what we were going to do.
Me neither.
It was so limited. Anyways, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a blessed Friday.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Not promised. Okay, promise.
All right.